1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Music with Ryan. Thanks for joining me. This week's featured lesson, I took the traditional gospel tune, Will Circle Be Unbroken, I put it in the key of E, and then I played kind of a Travis style or country and blues fingerstyle version or arrangement of this song. And again, you know, when you put it in the key of E and you get the alternate bass going in the right hand, it gives it that country blues flavor that you might be looking for. And again, the melody is fairly straight ahead. I didn't do anything too fancy with the melody line. So yeah, straight ahead arrangement for that fingerstyle, that Merle Travis style picking. If you'd like to purchase the full-length version, you can click the link down there below. It'll shoot you on my website, and there you can do so. It'll come with about 30 minutes of up-close video, PDF tabs, and 3 audio backing tracks. And if you really like the way I teach and approach learning, you can click a second link down there about being a member, or check it out at my site. And for a yearly or monthly fee, access my library of over 350 tunes. I do a lot of stuff in this genre, a lot of bluegrass, flat picking. I do have some fingerstyle over there I'm adding to my library as we speak. And come out with a lesson every week. I've got 3 courses over there, so a lot of features for a Premier member to check out. But for now, we're going to start walking through this lesson here. A little bit, I'm going to bring the camera on in. I'm going to throw the tabs up on the screen. And again, we'll start walking through Will Circle Be Unbroken in the key of E, fingerstyle. I hope you enjoy, and thanks for watching. Alright, so let's start walking through Will Circle Be Unbroken in the key of E here. We're going to do fingerstyle, of course. And the markings on the bottom of the staff, I have the right-hand fingerings marked there, and I use the terminology PIMA. So perhaps you're familiar with that or not. It's kind of a classical term. And P meaning thumb, I meaning index, M middle, and A ring finger. Okay, yeah, it's called PIMA. It's a classical thing, and that's how I mark up my scores for the right-hand fingerings. Okay, so let's pull up the first few measures here, and as you saw in the recording preview, I kind of do a little vamping before I get into the melody. Okay, I just kind of vamp over the E chord, and this is something that you can do and practice and get the hang of if you're kind of new to fingerstyle. It's a really cool little thing. So here's, and it has a first and second ending as you see there on the screen. And I'll talk about those 2 endings here in just a bit. So here's what it sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4. Downbeat of measure 4. So the first measure there, I got a pinch, the low E and the high E, and I'm using mainly my thumb and my middle for a lot of the pinching. Almost for all the pinching, I'm using my thumb and middle. Okay. So I pinch the E strings, and then the thumb comes down on the D, 2nd fret, back to the low E, and then back to the D string, and then here open G string with the index finger, I hammer, and as I hammer on, I pluck that low string as well. that's kind of a little trick to some of this little bluesy fingerstyle, is being able to hammer on to the downbeats and pluck a thumb bass note, if that makes sense, okay? And then I catch the high E as well with the middle finger. That's the first little bit. Pinch, thumb, thumb, index, hammer, thumb, and then in middle, and back to the thumb, low string, D string. So I'm obviously alternating on the low E and the D string. Okay, they're both E notes, but I'm alternating, I guess, the bass note. I'm not alternating the note exactly, the pitch, but they're different octaves. You know, and you can obviously start out doing this just with the thumb as a practice, but I'm not going to go into too much about working on the alternate thumb. I'm kind of assuming that you know some of that already or have been exposed to that kind of concept. So that, and then it's going to repeat back to the first measure. And then right here, I hammer on and pluck that thumb note, and it's going to go to the second ending. And it's almost the same, but it's a little bit different because we're going to pick up the melody, you know, into the verse now. So going to the second ending now. Okay, so the first half of that measure is the same as measure 2, but then beats 3, I pinch the open E, the low E, and the open B string, and then I'm gonna pinch the D string 2nd fret and the B string 2nd fret. My pinky's got to squeeze in there, B string 2nd fret, and I pull off with my pinky to 0. So 4 and so measures 1 goes right to measure 3 the second time. Here it is. Ready, go. First beat of measure 4. So let me do those 3 measures again as written. So measure 1, measure 2, repeat measure 1 to measure 3. And again, this is just a little vamp. You could really do this. You could do measures 1 and 2 as many times as you want until you're ready to start the piece. But so here it is as written. 2, 3, 4. Downbeat of measure 4. And obviously, you know, kind of with this style of playing, I'm muting those thumb notes. I'm really, you know, digging in and getting that thump, that thud sound. And that really drives this style of playing. And it can be tricky, and, you know, I'm not perfect at it, and sometimes I catch myself, you know, doing it correctly and doing it right, get a nice thud and a drive. And then sometimes I notice I fade from that because I'm concentrating on other things. But so it's a work in progress, but it really makes this playing come to life. If you just let it ring, it still kind of works, right? But it doesn't have that same effect, that same drive as. It takes a little while to get there. It's a little bit, you got to have some touch about you in the right hand. You know, work on that palm muting with the thumb. And that's something that can take, again, some time to develop. All right? All right, so that's, I guess, you know, that's all I'm going to discuss about the muting and about the alternate bass. Again, kind of assuming that you've been exposed to it, that you perhaps have tried it. And, yeah, if you're having problems with it, just get this arrangement, get the melody notes down, get the timing down, everything, and then you can start to apply that muted thumb. Okay, you can always come back and start working on that. All right, so measures 4, 5, and 6. They sound like this. We're into the melody now. Ready, go. So measure 4, I got a pinch with the low E and the high E. Then the thumb on the D, and then another pinch, the E's. Thumb comes down here to the D string, and then I hammer on first, or open G, hammer on first fret, then high E. So we kind of did this right in measure 1 and 2, kind of applying that little motif, if you will, little musical idea throughout this piece. It's really common in this style, that little riff. Okay, that's, again, really common, especially the... So ready, go. Alright, so measure 2 we hammered on. As soon as the thumb came down, it was together. And then high E. Second fret D, you're there, and then right here we get a little out, we got to get out of position here. 4th fret on the high E, and then the low E open. Okay, so that's just those two. And then I go back to 2 on the D, 2 on the high E. I'm going to use my 1st and 2nd finger in the left hand. So a little bit of shifting there. Measure 6, open E's, back to 2nd fret D, and then open E and 4th fret, high E. So I'm going to keep my 1st finger down on that D string in these 2 measures here. So okay, so it'll look like that in the left hand. So those 3 measures together. Ready, go. Okay, so I might have my hands above the strings here, but I'm just holding down 1 and 4 in the left hand. One more time. Ready, go. As a reminder, that thumb is just doing this the whole time. E string, D string, E string, D string, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's move on.
1, 2, 3, 4.